What's up, everybody? Pouring a beer right quick, but again, welcome to the late night garage with yours truly, Nick. It is actually rather cool outside, so I got the garage door open and we got the ancillary garage door open and the side access garage door open. We got a fan going because it is warm in the garage, yet it's cool outside, so I get some cold airflow in here. Don't mind my crazy hair. I was at the pool with the kiddos earlier for swim lessons for the summer. And my oldest daughter is attending a junior lifeguard camp next week, so we're getting her prepped and ready with her swim club. And yeah, it's been going on pretty good. But yeah, tonight we're going to be getting into setting these up. And so we got our humidification sensors and temperature sensors in. I've already got one of them installed. It fits in a little wonky, but you know, I don't care. There's been a lot of people that are like, oh, we need to change the orientation. It's like, I don't care. As long as you see the relative humidity inside each one of the AMSs, that's all I care about. So we're going to drop each one of these in. We're going to fill these up with desiccant. We're going to start loading the AMSs with each one of these pods. At the same time, I've got some more of the GameCraft revised tap handles coming off the printer. They're a fancy little inset right here. And so yeah, those are actually turning out pretty good. And then, you know, we'll get all the fixings and everything attached to them here before too long, and get those back over to the brewery so I can make Scott happy. So right now we're looking at inside the garage. It is 79.6 degrees with 59% humidity. And so once we get the desiccant in there, hopefully we'll have some better results in humidity sensing. So these guys really just do press in. They do sit in a little weird orientation because of how the electronics and everything were rated, and I really don't care. There's been a lot of people that are like, oh, it doesn't necessarily match the model. Don't care. And so literally what I'm going to do is I'm just going to line up these two tabs. So there's a tab here and a tab here. Just going to line those up the two slots. And once it's lined up, I'm just going to press it down in and lock it into place. And so I was going to make sure that the temperature, it's like I installed this one upside down, because I need it to be oriented so I can read it with this being the top, and I popped it in, but they pop right back out. So we're just going to pop it out, rotate it over, up a little bit better, and then press it into place. Don't care if it's a little bit cattywampus. Don't care. All right. So top, read the numbers because I can read. I can re-add 3. Come on. I want to get somewhat lined up before I like put pressure on it. There we go. 4. And so I have 4 AMSs at the house, so we're just going to do 4 for right now. Yeah, never mind. I'll just drop the other 2 in. Why not? Just when you're pressing these in, just don't press down on the actual little display because you don't want to crack or damage the display or get it to bleed over or whatever. All right, so we'll continue to work these things here in a minute. But for right now, I'm going to grab a jug of desiccant, and then we're going to grab one of our filling funnels, and we're going to start loading these guys up. And as I fill them up, I want them to basically go right into the AMSs. So probably do a little bit of prep work on the AMSs first. So let's change the camera over here. Do like the panning camera. Boop. So we'll go over to our AMSs. AMS that's in use right now is this one, so we're not really going to touch that one, but we're going to touch the others. So we're going to start off with this one. I'm going to pull out those cheap desiccant pads that we got currently in there. And so these dry pods are compatible with the AMS adapter at the same time. So If you guys have questions about the AMS adapter, these should be fine for use with the AMS adapter. And so this is my only AMS that has the AMS hub adapter in it. This is the one that I end up pulling out the most. All right, so now that that's open, we're going to grab our funnel. I'm going to pop the little coverlets off. And we're going to get the fill on desiccant. We're just going to drop these right on in. So let's slide our funnel on. And this is color changing desiccant. So here we go. Too much. Tamp that down a little bit. Slide that off. Slide the coverlet back on. And dropping it right into the AMS. So with spools in, it might be a little bit difficult. So we're just going to grab the back, rotate those out of the way. There's one. All right. On to the next. I wonder how much desiccant this is going to take. And desiccant's going to be reusable because we could just, bake the moisture out of it over time. Right? Oh, this is super exciting watching me do it. And I'm losing some desiccant all over the place. Some of these desiccant granules are a little bit larger than others, so there could be a little bit better quality control for the product itself, but I'm not too worried about it because the mesh that's on here is fairly fine. Just when you're doing it, try not to overfill the pods so you don't run the same issue that I'm running into. I can't close the top cover. There we go. And come over here, grab those two, drop that in. And mostly I just run PLA and ABS, so is having the desiccant pods like a critical vulnerability that I have? No, not really. But we're just going to double check it anyway and just make sure. All right, drop this one in. I know this is like terribly exciting to watch. Terribly exciting to watch. All right. Just to rotate them up a little bit. That pod in. All right, last pod for the first AMS. Fill it up and run with it. I just printed these in PLA because we've got a lot of PLA. All right, so let's seal this first one up. And they're all supposed to work with the Hydra AMS. All right. And then right now that one's sitting at 82.5 degrees Fahrenheit and 55% humidity. And so we'll see how much this drops it down here within the next hour and then 2 hours and so on and so forth. Okay, so next ones we're just going to go ahead and set the boxes up. So the next ones I do have the additional trays will be going in the factory AMS little spots on for the desiccant. I don't know how best to fill these up. Kind of messy. But I don't think I'll fill them all the way up. I'm just going to drop some desiccant in there and just call it a day. I don't think I need to be super precise with the filling. Just getting some desiccant into it. And this make a lot more sense if I was running like a bunch of nylons or whatever for my filament types, but I'm not. I primarily print in PLA and ABS. Just engineering here. Well, these remind me of those fish eggs. You ever go fishing and use fish eggs as bait for fish? Well, cannibalistic properties there. All right, so there's one. Oh, desiccant everywhere. All right, number 2. And we'll grab the next grab box sensor. Drop the funnel on there. Grab all this junk that we had. All this loose desiccant, which rolls coincidentally. because they're round, like fish eggs, and so I got desiccant all over the garage. Hopefully I don't slip on it and bust on you know what. Set these ones off to the side. Don't need them. Terribly exciting watching me fill desiccant pods. And for these desiccant pods, I just use our Matter Hackers build PLA and silver. It's my favorite filament, and I always request a lot of it. So for these other AMSs, I'm probably going to pull the filament out of it and reset the filament into them. Alright, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 desiccant pods for that one. Alright, so this one's going to go into our red, green, blue, white. Alright, so let's grab it out. Mix between Bamboo and Matter Hackers branded filaments. And I'm still testing out, where I can get the best bang for the buck, for the best print quality, for the lowest cost, because that's the concern for pretty much everybody that's out there. So I'm going to pull this guy out. The only thing I don't know about right now is if I do have a filament error, how hard is it going to be to remove these desiccant pods? And if I drop them. So I just dropped that one and it survived. That's always good. And didn't bust open and spill desiccant all over the garage. Let's see. So those will be really easy. Just drop into place. All right. Now your reverse filament load. White. Blue. green, and red. I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do with my other batch of red filament. And so one key note to do is press down on the bamboo logo to make sure that the lip seals before putting the locking tabs on. Go over to the next AMS. We have to remove these filaments. Another spool of blue for Matter Hacker stuff. Some silky silver. Some silky gold. All right. Fill some more pods. That out. Grab that out because I don't care about these anymore. Garbage. All right. Shoop. It's not want not. Oh lordy. That's getting squirrely. Oh, I'll just brush it up. Hard to do when it's round. Feel like I'm police calling brass. Bring back terrible, terrible memories. All right. Off to the funnel. So we'll print some stuff out. Oh Lord. Come on. They're not perfectly round either, so they just don't roll. They like move off at obtuse angles and craziness. Alright, so we got, I don't know how long until we have a color shift on the last one. So we won't do the last AMS until we do have a color shift, because then it'll rotate over to a different AMS. All right. All right. So it's going to be refill AMS, silky gold, silky silver, ladder hackers blue, and then bamboo regular silver, not silky. Zero snips. Where do I have zero snips when I need them? Let's seal that up. Okay. And so we probably could put some of the other pods in, but immediate reduction. So it's like the first AMS, we're already down to 38% humidity, even though the temperature is at 83.1 degrees. So it's 83.1, but we're at 38% humidity. The second one, we're still sitting at 51% humidity, 60% humidity. And so it's going to start absorbing a lot of that moisture out of the material or out of wherever it's at inside the AMS. And so cap this guy back off. We've used not quite half of our giant jug of desiccant. So this is 7.5 pounds. And so we've gone through about 3 pounds worth maybe of desiccant. And minus whatever we dropped on the ground that's rolling around the garage now. And so yeah, we're working on some jobs. We're doing a bunch of different little random things. So I've got one bamboo printing tap handle version 27. I've got the other bamboo working on another client job. Let's see, which ones can I fill right now? I can fill that one. So 1, 2. Might be able to fill them all without interrupting the operation, or we can just play it safe and away. But Not patient enough for that. Don't like just sitting idle. So we're gonna do it live. Because why not? Why not do it live? Throw some more desiccant all over the workbench. Drop some more on the ground. Need to get the Roomba up and running so the Roomba can take care of all that for me. Most valued employee around the household, Roomba. Actually, we got two Roombas. One's inside, and we work that one to the bone. It does a really good job. Because it's like, we got two girls, we got our two dogs, and the Roomba has its work cut out for it. Overfill. Come on. All right. And so the other bamboos are starting to drop. And hopefully I don't have to change this desiccant out all that often, but you never know. I mean, we may have to. All right. Carbon fiber reinforced PLA. Only have a little bit of that left in my current stocks here at the house. Use the rest of it up. Some good old PLA in black. Reach that. So we're done over here. You in. Drop you in. Drop you in. Then remove this build PLA in black from a respool. Well, we should be able to get all these in here. Let me, the problem is grabbing that one desiccant packet out, so. Grab all this old desiccant in these preform packs, and we're just gonna junk this stuff. We got this fancy marking kind of desiccant. It's like the last thing that I used like a marking material for was actually Sodazorb, and that just removes carbon dioxide, and that was for closed loop rebreather diving back when I was in the service many moons ago. So we're going to go ahead and fill these other 3 pods, and we're going to drop them in while we were printing, because why not? Why not do that? what I call living life on the edge. 3D printing out of my garage and making rogue decisions about how to fill desiccant packets while printing is going on. Such a rugged life. It's a tough and rugged life. All right. All right. All that good. All right. Cap this off. Put that down over here. Boom. So fast and so stealthy. What can I say? Like a ninja. All right. All right, there we go. We have 4 AMSs that are now filled with fresh desiccant. And so this one's already dropped down to 35, that one's dropped down to 46, that one's down to 51, and the one that we just filled is now sitting at 60%, while we're at 58, 57 here in the garage for these other 2 units. That we will use one of these for one of the AMSs I got at the office, and then I need to buy one more AMS, and hopefully I can get one at a little bit of a discount, because we got a couple AMSs that are at the office that could probably find a new home. All right, so I'm going to pull this back out. And I might just toss the rest of this carbon fiber reinforced PLA, because I just don't have enough left on any of these spools to actually do anything with. I don't know. There really isn't a whole lot left, but I do not like material waste, and so I'll probably find a use for it. Like create some sort of tool or make something out of it just to burn off the rest of this filament. It's not automatically feeding because this AMS is currently in use. And so once this print gets done, it's probably going to yell at me like, you changed the AMS. All right. Bam. Clear off some more of the workbench so we can do things and stuff. Down there, leave those 2 on the workbench right now. Integrate. I don't need that malarkey. $79 garage. Let's drop that. Not very reactive, I can tell you that. Okay. So, yeah, super exciting stuff going on in the garage tonight. Filling desiccant packs, and loading those into printers. Hoping that I got enough of the Matter Hackers Build Silver on that spool to finish off at least this last tap handle. What we got left on this? We got 8 minutes left, and so we'll kill the feed here in just a few minutes so I can work on a client project. I'm hoping this will work to my advantage. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, super exciting stuff filling this up. So yeah, we'll kick back over to the workbench real quick. And this is probably like the largest number of live views I've ever had in my life. 16 live views. Crazy. 2 concurrent viewers. So there's 2 people watching the stream right now. So it's like 1:51 in the morning. There's 2 people watching, which is the most I think I've ever had. So thank you guys for tuning in and seeing the craziness that I have going on in my garage workspace. Hand the camera over back to the workbench. And yeah, so we got another one of these tap handles coming off the printer here in a few minutes. And I got to print out some more of these inset logos for the GameCraft tap handle. We're going to work on a little bit of post-processing for this, or for these 2. That way I can get these ready to be delivered over to the brewery. I might even then set some magnets into the tap handles tonight. I don't know quite yet. But yeah, this little blue logo, I got to get it glued in, but it's just like a little 3D printed shroud. The actual tap handle prints out like this. And then I have that little 3D printed shroud just to keep costs low, because like when I did it the other night and I ran a couple different tests, like there's one other generation one. So I've got quite a few generations of the tap handle itself, but it goes through 191 filament changes if we were just doing it direct between the blue and the yellow, and did not want to deal with that. So trying to keep costs as low as possible during the manufacturing process. And ultimately the tap handles have turned out pretty good so far with magnetic insets and inserts, but neither here nor there. Maybe I'll pull up the chat or something. That's crazy. 16 views. Weird. I mean, weird in a good way. And so look at that. That's crazy. So the desiccant in its form is orange when it comes out, and these 2 have just been sitting on my workbench, and as you can see, they've already like completely discolored as they absorb moisture, and they've started to turn green. So yeah, good indication that the indicating desiccant packets are, or the indicating desiccant is functioning as intended. So and for these tap handles, I mean, I don't know how many hours I put into the design on these things, but it's like we've got 27 revisions of the actual base for the tap handle. I've done a ton of different design work for each one of the individual beers. Just for each one of the plates and the logos. If you guys want, I mean, all the previous videos are up. The only thing that I don't stream some of this stuff is when I have some clients that I'm either under a non-disclosure agreement about, and or whatnot. I mean, I'm fairly transparent in everything, unless I have to non-disclose things. All right. A little bit of that support interface gone. Third one. And so it's like, I'll set these down and chat through some of the stuff as it relates to how we came up with the design for these other ones, wherever I have them. So this is a failed one. Here's those test insets. Here's the last test tap handle. So when I started working on the redesign, I changed some of the logoing up, changed some of the diameters for the magnets to get set in, and then worked on figuring out the exact size and placement for the inset for the C, and figured out that it's going to be my test 4 with the gap spacing is what fit best in here. And the textured PEI plate gives it a really nice kind of like glossy, glowy finish for the actual C of the GameCraft, but you know, neither here nor there. If we did like the straight color swap, this is a failed print from a couple weeks ago, but that failed print with the multi-layer, and so this is where it was just like 191 filament changes across the entire building up with the GC logo up top, and sort of have some color bleed through even with the purge tower, and wasn't overall happy with it because the amount of like waste material was just ungodly, even with reducing down the the purging. So even reducing down the purging to the bare minimum, I still had color bleed without running a prime tower. And so I opted not to run a prime tower because, I mean, I don't feel it's necessary when it runs a purge, but in this instance, with that offset color between the blue and the yellow, it absolutely was necessary. But that would have just meant that much more material waste, and I'm kind of anti-material waste. So this is the test and evaluation. This is an actual production one, so we'll take these other, set it back on the workbench. Did a couple in wood just to try them out. And then really kind of worked on some of the additional design. But yeah, the logo, this was the T5, where it was just a C, and then the T6, or the test 6, ended up adding on that little lip right there, so it makes the color seem a little bit more blocked, similar to what I had for the full print variation of it. But came out really good. And then for the magnetic plates and everything, for the different beer logos, is really interesting in the design work for them and the badging for them. So I'm going to grab a couple of my other ones that I have over here. Let's see. Go with Haze Weave and a few others. And so the magnetics are all supposed to be set so that the tap handles are completely interchangeable depending on what beer you have. So you just basically set the tap handle on, drop the beer plate on there. This one got a little warped just because I left it in my car on a hot day. And then we would put the plate that shows the actual discipline of the beer. So the disciplines of the beer that they have over at GameCraft Brewing Company is their Lager League, which is that logo right there. And then Haze Weave is actually one of their hazy pale ales. But worked all the design, so if you guys want to check out some of the other videos of how those were all done, it's all set. I have everything kind of video logged and video recorded, and set the magnets in there so that we can just literally take the face plates, drop them in, they're magnetized, and they won't fix. I've got one on my kegerator across the garage that I'm, sipping beer out of, but not too bad. And then, as you can see over here on GPT, I was just working on some stuff for some ABS Plus filament, and so that part just finished, and so I'm actually going to go off camera. For you guys that are tuned in, that's crazy that I've had 2 concurrent viewers and 16 total views on one of my videos, and that's the most I think I've ever had at one session. Kind of cool. But yeah, I'm going to sign off for now while I get to another project that I have to go off camera for. But every night I'm usually streaming here from the garage. So yeah, we'll catch you later.